Dead silence. A hospital heart monitor flatlines, one long, painful beep. They say when you die, you see a light. They say it's peaceful, warm, beautiful. They're wrong. What Marcus Cole saw on that operating table was not light. It was something that had been watching him his entire life. And when the doctors brought him back, it came back with him. Marcus Cole was 34 years old when he died for the first time. No car crash, no warning. He was eating scrambled eggs on a Tuesday morning when his heart simply stopped. The paramedics worked on him for 11 minutes. 11 minutes of nothing. And then on the 12th minute, Marcus Cole gasped. The doctors called it a miracle. But the nurse who looked into his eyes the moment he regained consciousness, Carol Simmons, a 20-year veteran who had seen everything, quit her job the very next morning. She never explained why. Marcus woke up in the ICU. Diana, his wife, was holding his hand crying. His daughter Sophie, 7 years old, asleep in the chair beside the bed, clutching a crayon, drawing in her little fist. Marcus looked at Diana. He knew he loved this woman, but sitting there, he felt nothing, just cold. A cold that had settled into his bones like concrete. That night, lying in his own bed at 3 a.m., he became aware of something. There was someone else in the room. He turned toward the corner. Nothing there, just shadow. But the shadow was the wrong shape. He was almost asleep when he heard it. A whisper so close it could have been inside his own skull. You weren't supposed to come back. The first week home, Marcus told himself everything was fine. The figure at the edge of his vision, tall, thin, perfectly still, just his brain misfiring. The reason Sophie wouldn't meet his eyes anymore, just a child processing trauma. The smell, sweet, rotting, following him room to room, just something in the walls. But on day 8, he was washing his face and looked up into the mirror. For just a fraction of a second, the reflection looking back at him was not his face. Same features, same stubble, same scar on his chin, but his reflection was smiling. Marcus was not smiling. He didn't tell Diana, because how do you say that out loud? How do you say, I think something followed me back from the dead and now it's wearing my face in the mirror? By day 12, Sophie stopped sleeping in her bedroom. Every night on the floor outside her parents' room. Diana thought nightmares, but Marcus knew the truth. He'd stood outside Sophie's door at 2 a.m. and heard her whispering. He pressed his ear to the wood. I know he looks like Daddy, but Daddy doesn't smell like that. Daddy doesn't have those eyes. Pause. Then, okay, I won't tell Mommy. His 7-year-old daughter was not talking in her sleep. She was answering someone. He pushed the door open. Sophie was staring directly at the corner of the room. She turned to look at Marcus in the doorway. And for the first time since he came home from the hospital, she screamed. Marcus went to see Father Raymond Aldis, 70 years old, hearing confessions since before Marcus was born. He told him everything. The shadow, the mirror, Sophie's whispering. Father Aldis listened without interrupting. When Marcus finished, the old priest was quiet for a very long time. Then he said, Tell me exactly what you saw. In those 11 minutes, it wasn't darkness, Marcus said. It was a place, like a hallway stretching in both directions forever. Hundreds of doors, all of them closed. And at the end of the hallway, something saw me, started walking toward me. And then the doctors brought me back. Father Aldis had gone completely white. His hands were trembling. In 30 years of ministry, he said quietly, I have sat with 4 people who described near-death experiences. 3 of them described exactly what you just described. The hallway, the doors, the thing at the end. What happened to them, Marcus asked. Father Aldis looked at him with something Marcus had never seen in a priest's eyes. Pure unmasked fear. They didn't survive the month. Marcus drove home, keeping his eyes off the rearview mirror. He'd learned by now not to look in mirrors. He opened his laptop, typed near-death experience, entity followed back. The results were overwhelming. Thousands of accounts, different countries, different decades. but the same details always. The cold in your bones, the shadow that was the wrong shape, the reflection that moved a half-second too slow, and always the smell, sweet, rotting, getting stronger every day. One post stopped him cold. NDE Survivor 1987. Deleted account. Archived. If you were reading this, something came back with you. Chose you. It wants to cross over completely. Right now, it is only partially here. That is why you see it only at the edge of your vision. But every day it gets stronger. It feeds on your life force. And by day 30, it will be strong enough to fully manifest. And when it fully manifests, there is only room for one of you. He scrolled down. One reply from another deleted account, posted 7 minutes after the original. Today is my day 29. Don't let it reach 30. That was the last post either account ever made. And then his phone buzzed. A text from Diana. Picking up Sophie now. Sophie wants to ask you something. The 3 dots pulsed. Then, she says to ask you what today's date is. She says the man in the corner told her to keep count. She says today is day 18. Marcus grabbed his phone to call Diana. Tell her not to come home. Stay away. Take Sophie anywhere. And then his phone screen went black. Not dead. Not out of battery. Just black. And in the black screen, like a mirror, his face. Smiling. He was not smiling. From right behind him, so close he could feel cold breath on his neck. A voice that was almost his voice. You weren't supposed to come back, so I thought, come instead. They found Marcus Cole at 3:22 p.m. Diana came home with Sophie to find the front door wide open. Marcus was sitting at the kitchen table, perfectly still, facing away from the door. Diana called his name. He didn't move. Sophie grabbed her mother's hand and said very quietly, "Mommy, that's not Daddy." The thing sitting in Marcus's chair slowly turned around. Diana screamed. Sophie didn't, because Sophie had known for 18 days. She had known from the moment she looked into his eyes in that hospital room and saw that the man who came back was not the man who left. In Sophie's backpack there was a drawing, crayon the way 7-year-olds draw. A man in a hospital bed, a shadow in the corner, and on the shadow in careful, deliberate letters, "Go back." The doctor said Diana had suffered a complete psychological break. They said she kept repeating the same thing over and over, rocking in the hospital bed. Its eyes, its eyes, its eyes. They never found Marcus. Not a trace, not a footprint, not even a body. Just one thing left in that kitchen. The smell, sweet, rotting, already fading, like something had finally gone home. The door only opens from one side. What really happens in those minutes between life and death? Science has explanations. Religion has answers. But the people who have actually been there say something no textbook covers. They say the hardest part is not the dying. It is making sure you come back alone. If this story kept you up tonight, good. That means it worked. Subscribe, because we go somewhere darker every single week.